happy day 41. Hope all is well. So I've had a few requests recently. How do the Tour pros hit those low launching, high spinning wedge shots? Okay, how do they actually go around doing that? So this is a 1 in 3 part series to give you some advice and some knowledge to help develop the skills in producing that golf shot. That golf shot can happen anywhere from about 30 to about 80 yards. And you're basically not using a full swing anymore. And I call these distance wedges, okay? So let's look at the master in action. So we've got Tiger Woods here from 70 yards, okay, hitting a low launch, high spin golf shot, okay? I want you to notice it doesn't really launch much higher than the TV screen, no higher than this TV tower. And also once it hits the green, look at the stopping power that this ball has got. So low launching, once it hits the green, couple of bounces, and then it stops to attention. Yeah, so a pretty sexy shot. But there's a reason why the best play them like this is because it gives them the most control. So what we found out then, what the research has proven, is that the best wedge players do some similar things, ironically. All right, so the first thing I want you to think about is they launch the ball at a particular angle. And a great way to remember this is they launch it about half the amount the loft they're using. Okay, so if I was using my 58-degree wedge to hit that golf shot, it should be launching at about 29 degrees. Okay, 60 degree, 30, etc. 56, 28. But as long as you're below 30, you're in that good window of an appropriate launch for this type of golf shot. The other thing that was found out is the fact that they're very high spinning, okay? So all good wedge players had a spin rate of over 8,000 RPMs up to about 10,000, which is a high amount of spin, which gives it that stopping power when it hits the green. So in these videos, we're going to give you some advice around launching the ball at that height and gaining the spin that you need. And there's 3 real requirements that's needed. 1, technique, how you move the golf club into impact will massively influence that, and that's going to be the nature of video 2 and 3. But today we're going to chat around the equipment and its role in developing those 2 things, and also the environment that you're playing from. So the first thing, the equipment. So unless you have a quality new wedge, you're probably not going to do it, okay? So first things first, if your wedge is more than a year old, and the grooves are in poor condition, you're not going to do it. So you need a newish wedge, a premium wedge with clean grooves, dry, clean grooves. That's the first thing. The next thing is the ball that you use. I use a Pro V1. I think this is the premium ball on the market and will massively help you achieve those 2 things. So without this, you're probably not going to get the low launch or the low spin. I could even go as far as about 50% of the battle of achieving that. Okay, so coming into that season, do you have a good quality clean wedge? Are you using a good quality ball? The next thing is the environment you're hitting from. So if there's any interference between the ball and the club, you're not going to get the friction to get the low launch and the high spin. So what gets in the way of friction? Well, moisture, grass. Okay, so if you're playing in wet conditions, you're unlikely to get it as much. If you're playing from the rough, you're unlikely to get it as much. So you're going to get it most when you're hitting off a dry fairway that's nice and tight, you're not getting much interaction. So there's the first things first. So you've got to have good equipment, and you've got to be playing from a suitable line. If you're not coming from a suitable line, you're coming from the rough, you've probably got to be landing it more through height rather than spin. The next 2 videos, we're going to have a look at actually how you need to deliver the golf club to achieve the appropriate technique to help those launch and spin conditions. This is just to remind you what you need to do in the equipment and the environment that's needed to actually hit that golf shot. I hope that's helped, and I'll see you again tomorrow.